So, anyways, basically to do a rundown, Warship Gunner, I believe, came out in 2004 or something, and then they made Warship Commander, which was an isometric view, which is similar to Navy Field if you ever played that game. And then they made Warship Gunner 2, which is this game. I think this was 2006. So, basically, there's these games have a specific flow to them that's pretty unique. It was one of the first games I ever found that was like building. It's basically like, I don't know, like Space Engineers, or like almost, well, not like Minecraft, but like Minecraft in terms of complexity for what you can build. So the basic story is that you're a naval officer in the Republic of Wilkia, which is run by a monarch, and I think it's like around post World War II in an alternate universe where Germany, the United States, the UK, and Japan are all allies, and then they're all allies with the kingdom. I think it's the kingdom of Wilkia. But one day, the military decides to do a coup, and you stay as a loyalist faction with the monarch, and you basically try and bring the monarch back to power and take down the military coup. So what starts out is you get like this reasonable ship. It's like a probably like a I think it was like a Yubari cruiser or something reasonable for that period, and basically you have to collect parts to build your ship to be able to fight enemies. You're basically this one ship. You're like the vanguard of the fleet, and you're the one ship fighting against like 20 or so ships, and it's really just simple, destroying boats and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the R&D part so you guys can see what starts off as. So you start off as a destroyer basically, and there's a huge research tree. This game has a lot of research. You can see in the bottom right hand side of this, there's like 160 pieces of artillery, 190 launchers. There's 181 different hulls you can do for your ship, starting from realistic all the way up to the insanity, double hulls. You might have seen that video. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the hulls. So basically, this is similar to a lot of other ship games where there's like different hull types. Each hull type has different qualities. There's destroyers. Let me see if I can shrink down the icons. Yeah, this is a huge tree. Let's see, shrink, zoom out. I don't know how to zoom out. Shift U? No. Okay, so there we go. So this is the smallest size. So there's this huge tree of destroyers, and you basically can research up, but obviously some factions, I think I've went too far. Damn, this is a huge tree. Some nations get better destroyers than others. So for example, the US gets to about, I think, 5. And after that, for some reason, Japan is the only one to get the destroyer 6. I think this is the Shimakaze hull, actually. We can look at it. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with just hulls without parts on them. But like different nations have different benefits. Like I think US cruisers have a bit more weight to carry, and they start getting scouts much faster, and they have a little bit more HP. So endurance is the HP of the ship. So you can see that different lines just have different components towards the end. There's also a line called frigates. These frigates are basically modern day frigates. So the destroyers lead into modern day frigate designs. Destroyers end up being not that modern. There's also the battleship line, which is pretty standard. I think 6 for US is Iowa, for example. Maybe. And go out to Japan has the Yamato hull here. And then you also have these weird ships that come out of nowhere, the battle carriers. These are similar to like the ice battle carrier. If you look at it, it's obviously half battleship, half carrier, and most of these are made up, fictitious. So they'll have like the front of an Iowa and the back of a carrier. And then we obviously have the standard carriers, I believe, over here. US, I think, goes up to modern day Essex carriers, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. And then there's like stuff from World War II. I think this is the Hiryu. And then we have, I don't know why oh, there we go. Let's see. Where where is the map? There we go. We got a weird tree over here. That's always my favorite to look at. The game, as you may have noticed, is slightly unrealistic, but we have normal submarines here. These are, I think the first stage is World War II, and the second stage is modern tech. So like this would be like, I don't know, like a Los Angeles class. And then we got this weird stuff over here, right here. We got a May destroyer. This is really tiny. Like there's like, this is like all the special stuff. This is small destroyer. And then there's the twin hull destroyer, which practically speaking is not that great of a destroyer, but it's still funny to look at. There's a shark submarine. This doesn't look like anything here, but in the actual game it looks like a shark. There's like stuff like a special cruiser has an interesting hull design, twin hulls. Twin hulls are like a staple of this game. The small battleship, for example, is just a tiny battleship. There's the drill ship. That's like a lot of the bosses in this game have weird weapons like drills on the front. The duck ship actually looks like a rubber duck in battle. The super carrier is like a monster carrier. The genuine drill ship with two drills. It actually works when you ram ships. Like the gigantic battle carrier is mostly carrier and a little battleship. And the twin hull battleship, which is so much deck space. So basically how it works is you have all these pieces you can research. When you start off, you start off with the basic guns like 12.7 millimeter or 12.7 centimeter guns. So we can go to design really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and start a new vessel. Most of your game outside of actually driving the ship is designing the ship. So you can actually, you know, when you start off, if you don't know how to build a ship, you can use like blueprints. There's a bunch of different blueprints. Like I can start off with a Wichita class cruiser, and it just builds it for me. And that's a little inaccurate, but mostly accurate. Like this is a huge launcher. I don't know why. It doesn't even have aircraft probably, but it can launch like the Zero float plane model. There's like the Walrus from the UK. They all have different stuff. We got like the fighters over here. Most of these are probably not going to be American. For some reason, the scout planes end up just being very, very run-of-the-mill. So you can see there's like the Kingfisher here. They're all really decent models for a PS2 game. They put a lot of detail into this. We're going to switch over and switch the hull. So like basically you have the weapons. You can see these calibers. We got like, this is a triple gun. We can actually replace this with, the nice thing about this game is that, you know, it has standard turret sizes. You can actually swap between gun calibers if you want to like upgrade your ship right off the bat, which is pretty easy once you unlock, you know, like you start off at 12.7, you have like 14s, then 15.2s, you keep going all the way up. And like the 15s and the 20s are like probably good through about, you know, like the first third of the game. So you can see here, here's the standard 203 millimeter gun that you might see on like the Furutaka, for example. And the nice thing about this is, you know, you select this, you can select the caliber, which increases, you know, which increases the number of, the amount of damage you do for the length, but also increases the weight. So extra length, and then you're gonna get up to quad barrels. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You can see right here, these are really nice quad barrel guns right here. There we go. You can see, you can turn them around, you can raise them. It's a really detailed ship modeling system. You can put parts pretty much anywhere you want, and they actually have, you can see the bottom right, I can move the crosshair up. There's like the magazines below the deck. If they actually have a hitbox, so you can't put the engines to interfere with them. The engines determine how fast your ship goes, obviously. You can get boilers, fusion reactors. If you're using a standard, you know, boilers, you need a smokestacks to vent. You can use bridges. There's all different type of bridges, AA, everything like that. It's really detailed in terms of what you can do with a ship. You can see in the bottom there's the vital points. Basically, that's how wide all the armor needs to be to cover all your important part. So if you didn't have like such a wide ship, you could use core armor, which is just like all or nothing from the Iowa. So I think, yeah, like that. That's core armor, so it's a lot lighter. For example, you can put on armor, and we're gonna go back to the research tree really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and scrap this, and just go over the guns. There's just so many parts in this game. It's hilarious. The artillery, the basic artillery we talked about, the main guns start at the 10s, 12. We research barrels and calibers. Go all the way up to like 406, for example. Nice Iowa set guns, and like have quad barrels if you want to. I'm not sure if any ship had quad 406s. And you got crazy, like Yamato size guns. And some of them share barrels, so like you can see there's the 45.7 to 46. They both share the barrel types from. So you can have a quad barrel, insanity guns, and they go kind of a little further. 100 centimeter guns. I think these are only single barrel. They're not actually that great. So the game really likes giving you all these guns, I think up to like 406. And then all of a sudden it stops giving you those. And then eventually you unlock them again, but by that point, like the enemies start getting weird things like gravity shields that reduce physical damage. And then this is actually really inaccurate and really slow. I don't know why this gun is in the game. Like after a certain point, you just don't want to use guns anymore. You want to switch over to lasers. Another thing you get early on in the game is... Oh, well, let's go over ammo. So these things are just attached to your guns. So when you research them, let me see. Oh, well, can't see any of them. Stuff like armor piercing and new armor piercing and warhead armor basically allow you to like get like AA rounds for your ship. Those are sort of interesting. They don't ever explain them very well. The high angle guns are just the guns you place. They're modeled after the Yamato high angle guns. But if you're using like the Atlanta or something, you can use the main 12-7s. They don't look quite right, but they still also work as high angle. Obviously, there's machine guns, which start off with 7.7s, and we go all the way up to 40mm Bofors right here. And then we get to CWIS, which is obviously modern day AA, and that goes up to the real one. I think is 20. So you can actually get up to 35. They're decent for most of the game for fighting back aircraft. But the nice thing about the 40mm is that you get quad barrels. And they actually take out torpedoes in this game. That's something that was pretty cool when you set up all your guns and they actually take out torpedoes and protect you from that. There's also a category called rapid fire. These are actually Gatling guns. I actually used this specific set because it was just double barrel Gatling guns. They were really nice, and then all of a sudden the boss came and they were sucky. But they are, if you want like a rapid fire gun, you can put these on instead of like your primary guns and get some hilarious rate of fire out of them. I actually like them a little better because they actually can attack air targets pretty efficiently. Then we switch over to the prototype guns. These are the modern day 5-inch guns that you see on most ships, for example, or whatever caliber guns. Like this is the 5-inch guns you have on the modern day cruisers and destroyers. And then we have the advanced gun system, which was built for the Zumwalt class, which I believe the first one came out this year or was launched this year. This was in 2006, before they actually had built it. So they actually put the advanced gun system in, and actually is modeled pretty closely in terms of design. It's like a little box that's stealthy design for the ship. So they go up to 280, and I think they go up to 3 barrels. These are like the rapid fire guns that replace all your primary guns and are significantly better than the stuff that becomes obsolete. We have launchers, everyone's favorite, torpedoes. I actually stopped using these because I favored missiles, but once I started using them again with like my crazy Kitakami builds, I found out they were really fun. So there's like standard stuff. You can get up to 7 barrels with these things, and then you get guided torpedoes. They're like basically unstoppable. I think there's oxygen torpedoes on one side. There's like anti-sub weapon torpedoes. There's mine-laying torpedoes. I haven't used these mine-laying torpedoes as much. Over here is the underwater weapon versions, which basically are like turrets you can place on your submarine. They're all turret-based. I believe there's oxygen torpedoes that are super fast. Let's see. I think it goes down all the way to like supersonic oxygen torpedoes. I think there's like a nuclear torpedo somewhere. High explosive guided torpedo. This thing, hilarious when you use it. It's like a nuclear weapon that you just place as a torpedo tube. Explosives, we got standard like depth charge launchers. These are work really well. They're pretty easy to use. You just drop them in and they pop up. Mines, decoy launchers. They're like flare launchers. I didn't use them that much. They're pretty cool to use. More mines, stuff, like it's really hard to use the mines in this game simply because you're driving so fast and you're just blowing things up. There's rockets, obviously. Got missile launchers. This is everyone's favorite. Like, there's standard missile launchers and the VLS variants. So you start off with like a standard missile set. There's stuff like the RAM missiles, which are real-life equivalent anti-air rockets, rolling airframe. Long-range surface missile. Like you got EMP, napalm, high-explosive cruise missiles. Oh, and the ASROC, the anti-sub rocket. It's a really cool design. Basically, it fires a missile out over the submarine. I think you might have seen it in one of the Shark Stuff videos. It pops out a little parachute torpedo and drops down and basically blows it up with like a parachute-driven depth charge. Missile's pretty self-explanatory. We got some rockets. I didn't use too much here. There's like rocket launchers. They're, they outdate pretty quickly. There's a flamethrower here. Don't ever use this. It's so bad. So bad. Yeah, these are all bad. And there's these flare guns. There's an illumination flare, which, from what I can tell, allows you to like pull lifeboats closer to you. And also it replaces the usefulness of searchlights in that it illuminates everything. It makes your ship glow in the night. Signal flare, obviously just makes it a nice flare. I think it also does something with survivors. I think the sloop gun is just there to make noise. And then the shaft grenade actually, I think, is a jamming device. And then everyone's favorite high-tech weapons. We got organic weapons. We got crabs. We got a ring laser. We got cats. These are all just crazy lasers. You've probably seen them in past videos. We got optical weapons. The pulse lasers are like the new AA guns. These all these individual lasers have different patterns, so they're actually pretty cool to use. But like frankly, I'd either use advanced gun system or like the wave gun at this point. These things are pretty heavy for what they do. There's like plasma guns. These are just standard turreted guns. Magnetic. There's like rail guns. These are anti-ship weapons. I didn't like them too much. I think because of how big they are, you can only use like one at a time. So that was another flaw. There's pulse weapons. These are the wave guns, the ones that take out everything. They have huge range. They're enormous. They are super heavy, but they do so much damage. They can probably one-shot most of the bosses. And we got the photon gun over here, which just fires like a little ball that's like it's like the energy version of the high explosive missile. We already went through hulls. The structures are basically, like you can get bridges. You can basically put any type of bridge you want in your ship. All it does is increase command and sonar. Command is your radar detection. Sonar is how far you can detect underwater. You don't even need a rear bridge. There's like forward and rear bridges. You can make whatever you want in your ship. It doesn't have to be like a US hull has a US bridge on it. Aft bridge, not required. Self-explanatory aft bridge. There's the facilities. These are the like stuff like you get catapult for your aircraft carriers. Elevators like speed up how fast it takes off. You can get heliports for your battleships. And then the ammo depot just increases how much ammo you can carry. Usually these are pretty interesting to use because they take up so much space on the deck that basically it's like only for aircraft carriers. Engines, you start off with like standard boilers, and then diesel engines, nuclear reactors, gas turbines, and then everyone's favorite power source, fusion reactors. Fusion reactors are super efficient. They're super fast. You got some turbines. There's nothing fancy. They're just steam turbines. Purge is obviously the smokestacks. The systems allow you to get some pretty cool modifications to your ship. So there's like radar, which extends your radar. Targeting. This stuff like is auto fire. There's the Aegis system, which allows you to lock onto multiple targets. You can do like a super lock on and like fire at 9 targets. Firing delay system is like dispersion module. Auto countermeasures gives you more auto fire slots. There's like you get night vision, thermal vision, digital enhancement. There's a lot of different things that you can mod to your ship. Stuff like, you know, like fish detection system, for example, gives you sonar. It's like an endgame system, but no one understood what this did until one day I was playing it and I realized it actually detects schools of fish for you. I don't think it actually models the fish in game, but it just randomly throws fish onto your radar screen. Like stuff like auto targeting. There's just a bunch of and everyone's favorite auto reload system basically turns your guns into machine guns. There's a few more other things, but most of it is just for attack. Is just it changes how your guns fire, how well you fight stuff. The defensive stuff, you get jammers, you know, fire extinguishers. The shields reduce how much damage you take. Energy shields reduce energy damage, obviously. There's like stuff like damage control charm. There's also rare drops that aren't in this that basically augment that or better versions of that. Like the Enigma Tech, most of them are basically like pickups. The thrusters allow you to do the crazy turning thing you've seen. Man, there's so much tech in here. And the Enigma Tech, here we go. Some of them are here. Like they increase your HP or your turning speed. Aircraft. We start off with like, you know, like early World War II models. We get like, I think it's the Bettys. Lots of bombers. And then all of a sudden we go to like weird jet fighters. And then the Su-37 out of nowhere. Shazam. Bombs and then like hurricanes. Like that was obviously a can't remember, a Harrier, for example. Like Super Wasp is actually a Super Hornet. They have like a lot of modern day aircraft that just switch over, like the A4 Skyhawk, and then F-16, Falcon, the Crusader. Like we got like this the UK stuff. Let me see what else we have. The Viking is obviously Harrier. Like we have, what is this? What is this? It has machine guns and bombs. These are all fighters, so they're dual purpose. This is anti-ship missiles and anti-air missiles. I don't remember these. These are a lot of World War II planes. I think, yeah, it switches over on here. I'm not too familiar with British aircraft. So, like the Beaufighter. The Germans, unfortunately, stick out and get these weird things. I think that's it for this. The interceptors are just anti-air planes. We got like stuff that usually doesn't fit on them. So like we got the Shinden, everyone's favorite. What the hell is that? F-15s. I don't know why the Shindenkai's there. We got. I don't know how they got away with just putting the Raptor in here. They have carrier-launched Raptors, F-15s. This is a F-14. I don't know why they have two F-14s, but okay. SR-71. I have no idea what that is, but I'm pretty sure that's a VTOL aircraft. I don't remember what that is. F-4s. We got a lot of crazy stuff in here. I don't know. Let me see. They have that. Yeah, they have Bearcats mixed in with jet fighters. The British get to... I think these are starting to get into the jet fighters. We get Phantoms. Some jet fighters. Mostly remodeled F-4s. And stuff like that. Does Germany get anything? I'm not sure if that's Germany. That is actually Germany. Germany goes over to like the crazy jet fighters, and all of a sudden, UFOs. German UFOs with lasers and stuff. Yep, that makes sense. Bombers obviously drop bombs. You'll get like B-1Bs. I don't remember what that was. Just cute stuff. The F-35's in here. This game had a lot of tech that wasn't actually out yet for its time. That's the cool part. The Stukas. Another 2 sets of UFOs for the Germans. Scout planes, they start off really sucky. And then, I don't think they ever get to be good. Oh yeah, around here. The last one is like an E-2C Hawkeye, and that's about it. Everyone else has really ugly scout planes. There are also helicopters. These helicopters allow you to pick up stuff. If you can't reach them, they'll typically do that. There's also attack helicopters like the The H-1W Cobras, you know, Apaches, mostly are just pickup helicopters. And then everyone's favorite scouts, interceptors, fighters, and bombers, all the rubber ducks. That's basically it. That's a lot of things, though. I mean, this game, most of it's based around building stuff, and then once you're finished building, you're probably going to spend like hours building stuff. You get to the game, and the interesting thing about this game is that there's actually 3 paths. So I'm going to go to training. So you get an option to let me see, to choose one of 3 paths. They follow mostly the same path. You can see the number on the right. It's like 060, 070, 080, 093. These numbers change how the paths that are 0 are shared by all the operators or the XOs, and then the numbered ones determine which specific captain has it. I think 1, for example, is for Werner only, and there's 2 other XOs called Braun and I think Tsukuba. So these are all the XOs you can pick. They have different dialogue, and the story plays out differently. So, for example, if you get Werner, who's the easiest to get, depending on how you play your first mission, you get him, and you don't ever see Tsukuba again until later point in the story. You always get Braun. She's the main part of the story, and you rescue her, and she's your researcher. If you get Tsukuba or Braun, you never see Werner again. So it's a little interesting way how each time your story changes slightly depending on who you pick up for your commander. I think all the boss battles are shared by each line, so you always fight the same boss battles. I'm pretty sure. Oh, what is this? Okay, so apparently one set of people fight a boss here, and other people don't. So there's like a lot of different paths all the way to the end of the story, and there's special missions. Like there's like this weird set of extra missions from 710, I think, to 760, which bring back some of the characters for like a last hurrah. It's like kind of a, I think, tongue-in-cheek, non-canon story, but it's kind of funny to play through them. Like, for example, the Lord of Terror is a giant. Is it Cthulhu? No, it's like a giant kraken. There's also let's see. And let me return to menu. There's also there's a lot of replayability with this game. Let's see. Title screen. Oops. There's a plane flying over. I didn't know there were planes in the dock. There's like boss rush. Like extras here. There you go. Inferno, I think, is like. I don't know what Inferno is. Oh, it's just like a challenge mode. And basically, this gets pretty tough. I think they're all like super hard levels of ships. Survivals, obviously, you play as long as you can before dying. There's boss rush, which sends you through all the bosses, and then there's the special missions. Excuse me. That you saw before that you can redo. And there's just so much content in this game. This could easily spend 100 hours playing this game. We're down to this obviously is in my battle log, but like some of your stuff is locked until you kill 999. Stage ranks, you want to get S ranks and everything. There's a technical reference which talks about all your equipment. I think that, yeah, this one is just for playing. You get points to research and you need about. There's like stuff like you finish a certain campaign, you get these medals, and there's like other weird stuff all over the place. And a nice collection of flags. They didn't put in the Nazi flag, obviously. They gave it like this plus sign. I like the eco flag. It's just such a detailed game. It's like so few people know about it. Like, if you can get a copy of this, I would recommend it. It ages pretty well. It's not like super awesome graphics, but I would say that if you're looking for like a crazy game to just try out or spend a few days, get a PS2. You probably have a PS2, or get a copy of the disc and a copy of the BIOS, illegal copies, obviously, and a controller, and then just PCSX2, play it and just have fun. It's a great game, emulates perfectly. I'm not sure what else to say. It just looks so amazing to watch me. I play this game. There's no performance drops. There's only a few glitches on the screen, but otherwise it's probably the best $30 I've ever spent in my life. Alright, so that's it.
Incoming torpedo!
See you guys next time when we get back to probably more videos. But this is just give a wide level overview of what you're going to do that we've got the codes.
Incoming torpedo!
Alright. See you next time, guys.